Pressure, all mayhem.
1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time. Then after that, 1 point per second. Oh, that's pretty tough, the 1 point per second. But it makes these wool handlers get off their butts and get going. Here we go, round the top of the table works Anne-Marie. Where's her support crew? Gee, she follows a hopeless roll-up time down here. Table number 4, Anne-Marie. Oh, she's feeling good. Is she in front? Oh, it's the Aussie girl, Richard.
Yes, she's done well. Got her head there. Marianne looks to have a lot of loose bits. She's had a couple of real loose fleeces. A lot of bits have fallen off them. There's a lot of wool on the floor. No, that young Aussie girl, she probably learned a lot last night. Doing well. Anne-Marie looks like she's well cleaned up down there as well. They're all pretty even. There's not much between them. Tomo.
Oh, I think Chelsea Collier might be the first one with her hand up. She looks like she's got a bit more urgency. There she goes, Chelsea Collier. Anne-Marie, she's looking all right too. Come on, Anne-Marie, time is ticking. There we go, time for the Aussie girl. We just got Marianne Batey, time for her as well. Well done, wool handlers. Oh, these wool handlers, it's a bit exciting there this morning, Richard.
Very much so. I got wrapped over the knuckles earlier on there for calling them rousies, which is what they're called in the sheds, or they have been in the past. But these young ladies, it's wool handlers because it's a very important job. And they're actually not just being a general rouseabout, they're actually being a wool handler and trying to add value to it, and it's a very important job and making it more upmarket. Can we have that third heat called out, please, Morgan? Gerald, can you just call the heat? Heat 3.
Heat 3 will be.
Good morning, viewers and Wairarapa TV. Welcome back to the Golden Shears for the year 2017. On behalf of Mr. Philip Morrison and his able-bodied team, committee, just general people that make this show tick so big. We had a big night last night, and we're looking forward to an even bigger day and a bigger night tonight. It's our special honour to welcome into the studio this morning, all the way from a little town called Tamaki Nui Arua, Danny Burke, Mavis Mullen. So Mavis, the show has gotten underway for the year, and we're into the second or third heat of the Open Wool Handling Primary ITO quarterfinals. And you're a guest, you've been there, you've done it, you've actually won this, and past president, and we've called upon your expertise to, we're going to do the next two events. So welcome, and I believe you've got a few stats for us as well.
Yes, good morning everyone, and the start of the Open quarterfinals. So this is a biggie. 40 competitors we started with, and out of those 40 competitors, there were 5 past winners. So that's kind of interesting that people are still coming back. But through to this grade, to this level, now there's only 3. And of course, the competition is pretty hot because not only do you have the old guns, but there's some first-timers here as well, and they're dying to make their mark.
Oh, hey, that's great. Well, this is trailblazing stuff for the Golden Shears and for shearing sports worldwide, Mavis, that with noise production here, and we're working our way in through just giving the information live as it happens, the warts and all, and there's not a lot that's left out, and we're very fortunate and lucky to be at the forefront, the trailblazing of our wonderful industry. In New Zealand, this industry, wool industry alone, is worth almost $1 billion, and this is what's happening at the moment. And this event here, $1,400 is the prize package for the Open Wool Handling Champion. And I think they think more of the ribbon than they do of the money, don't they?
The money's pretty important. The ribbon is good, but any winning certainly supplements this this level of employment for these people, these wool handlers. So on the stand at the top, you have Ronnie Goss. So Ronnie is a master wool handler. She's been around a long time. She's smooth. She's very cool, calm, collected. And, of course, she's the mother of Rugby Sevens captain, Sarah Goss. So that sporting, competitive nature's certainly in their DNA. But she's going well.
Probably Sarah's probably tuned in and watching and wherever she is around the world, and that's her mum.
Yep, kia ora Sarah if you're there. On the stand now we have Amy Karaka. She's from a little place called Tikaraka up in Gisborne. She's been around for a while, but she's also a very adept shearer. She can certainly handle a handpiece as well, Koro.
Gisborne, just talking about Gisborne, there's that old matriarch up there. What was her name? Elsa Fleming. Well,
Yeah.
I would suspect that this lady is probably all beagle-eyed watching this as it unfolds, and that's one of her protege, Amy, and she's got a sister that's the top shearer as well. So she's done well. I believe, just watching the last one, I think that Chelsea Collier stood out, and we're going to go underway. But, you know, we've got this lady here on table number 1. I don't know if she's doing the business now. Who we got here on the camera?
Yep, you're quite right. Don't you underestimate Ronnie Goss. So here we've got Kieran Herbert. So Kieran's a past world team champion. She's highly competitive. Not a lot gets past her. She's tough, rough, and if you get in her road, watch out. But she is a great competitor. You can just see the fleeces have been a little bit loose. It's been a great season, so there's not a lot of binders in the wool that kind of holds them tight together. Great roll there, Kieran.
Best roll I've seen all morning, Mavis.
Yeah, small fleece though, and if you notice they're cleaning off the table as they roll those fleeces off. Any wool left on the table is a penalty.
Incurring penalties as they go, so that
Yep.
once they've rolled their fleece up, it's got to be nice and clean, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because you then contaminate if you put a new fleece on top. So now we have a bit of a young gun here, Logan Kamura from Masterton. He's been in the game off and on for a little while now, but when he does show, he makes, look at that throw.
Oh, the
fantastic.
top table there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So at that throw of Logan's, I would have thought no more than 3, 4, 5 penalty points for that.
It's judged on how flat it and sort of stuck to the table. Anything that's bunched up incurs penalties, doesn't it?
That's right. And the reason for that is if you have a fleece that lands cleanly on the table like that, the processing faults are a lot more obvious. And if it's all bunched up, tucked under, then those faults get lost and they carry on to the next process. You really want everything taken out at this point.
We're working around the fertiliser works, the back end of the sheep there, and they've actually got to clear that all away as well, don't they?
They do, and very cutely, the fertiliser works. Well,
Fertiliser
obviously.
work, that's where the sheep does its business.
That's right. So that also is a contamination. That's a processing fault because in the green stain, if you like, there is chlorophyll, and that has an effect on the dyeing capability of the product. So all of those things have to be taken out. It's often shorter as well. You want a fleece of even length, even colour. He's doing a great job, this young fella.
That fleece looks like it's got a little bit of dust in it, but he's left it in.
Dust, if it's not too heavy, that'll wash out, shake out. You know, the last thing you want to do is kind of overcook stuff here. But look at those clean tables. Oh, great throw, Ronnie.
Fantastic throw on table number 1.
Yep, Kieran.
Oh, that Amy's she could have done better. I reckon that was a poor throw. And Logan is right on the edge, but I think the throw would have to go to Kieran Herbert.
Kieran or Ronnie. The thing with Amy, her throw didn't land great, but again, it's one of those loose, fall-aparty kind of fleeces that make it really difficult, and it takes a very, very, very skilled operator to get that on the table exact.
Oh, isn't the pitches, the quality of the pitches coming at us, and it's making the commentary so much easier. It's just fantastic. And look at Karen Herbert, she's right up there. And she's of Rarotongan descent, isn't she?
She is. Her grandmother's from Rarotonga, and this is some interesting stuff, because I guess the Pacific Islander or the Pacifica people in New Zealand kind of can sometimes disappear into Māori, and you don't know this stuff. But with World Championships now taking quite a lot of interest, and with the Rarotongan team, or the Cook Island team, competing so well in Invercargill, there's a lot of interest in what might happen for France.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to that. So there she goes. The tighter the roll, the better, Maeve.
That's right. It's got to be tight, compact and placed. So you won't see anyone throwing these fleeces into those bins. It's got to be placed. And again, there's a commercial reason for that. In the shearing shed, if wool is placed nice and tightly in a wool press, it's less effort to get the bale pressed. Another round of fantastic throws. Look at that.
Ronnie Goss has got the throw that time, and this is the fourth and final sheep. Now, fleece, sorry. So how much time have they got from the time the shearer switches off? They've only got about a 1 minute and 30 seconds, haven't they?
I think it's 1:10. I might be wrong, but that's right. So when they're
1 minute and 10 seconds. You're absolutely correct, Maven.
well, that's a surprise, isn't
That's
it,
a
Koro?
first.
So they've got 1 minute and 10 seconds when the shearer switches off, of only one, hang on, so it's every 10 seconds. So they will incur
1 point every
6.
10 seconds. After the 1 minute 10, it's 1 point per second.
That's right.
So it's absolutely die-hard stuff. If you are over that 1 minute and 10 competitors, you're in the
Look at
arms.
Ronnie, look at Ronnie.
Ronnie
There she goes.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Karen Herbert's a little bit behind, but I think Ronnie, oh, look, She's just
organised. She's organised.
Look, well, she's already 10 points ahead of those other ones now. She's got 15 points ahead of the other ones now. She's almost 20 points ahead of Karen Herbert. Karen Herbert is fluffing, mucking around. What's she doing? She's left something on the floor, Mavis.
Yep, so it looks like that could possibly be something like a stain, a bit of
Thistle?
vegetable matter. Yes, something like that. All her baskets are full, and so she's able to leave it on the floor without being penalised. If you have anything on the floor and your baskets, there's an empty basket, you're going to be penalised.
Well, they've got 9 containers, haven't they? And they've got to use every one. So if you're saying that Karen Herbert left something on the floor and she's got an empty basket, she's up.
She's
for
going to
huge penalties.
She'll be penalised. But if the baskets are full and for whatever reason you find another processing fault, it's okay to leave it on the floor. You won't be penalised.
We've just seen some stats come up on the screen there, and it looks very much like Karen Herbert has taken out the board section. I think that incurs time penalties as well. But now the finished product is taken into another room that's confined and locked, and they go through the fleeces and the oddments. Give us a little bit about that.
So you've seen the judges on this on the board there. There's a whole lot of judges also outside. So those baskets and the fleeces will be taken out, and those judges will pore over them, ensuring that what they said or what they have separated is relevant and is what it should be.
So Mavis, the fleeces are gone over. They've rolled the fleeces and put it in the container, the fadge, and then when they go out, they unroll it.
That's right. They'll unroll it. They'll look at the edges where most of the penalty processing faults are. They'll also look to make sure that there's no second cuts or little bits of double shorn fleece within the actual fleece as well, because what you're looking for is consistent length, consistent colour of that main line.
And the benefit of this, it flows back into the workplace. The farmer ultimately will gain from the expertise that these wool handlers are doing, because it's not great if you've got this beautiful line of fleece wool and there's shed stain in it.
That's right, because then there's no guarantee of how much of that fault there is. So you kind of have to discount the whole bale or that whole line. So there is some economic penalties when this type of work isn't done well. And this is the kind of stuff that CP Wools have been big on over the last couple of days.
Well, we had Hamish De La Tour last night presenting on behalf of Carfield's Primary Wools in the test between New Zealand and Australia, and he just hammered that home that it's quality that's got to come through, and for the farmer that's putting that extra effort into quality, it'll come through. Okay, now we're going into heat number 3. Table number 1 is the form horse, Mavis. This guy is on fire.
He is on fire, and Joel has been on fire for a little while actually, but he's kind of just really over the last couple of years hit his straps big time. You can see how he's keeping the floor around that sheep really clean.
Oh, he's got a hard fleece here, Mavis. This
Yes.
is going to be a challenge for Joel Hinare.
Yes.
We're going to stay with him, Toby. We've got to take this fleece and see how it lands on the table. Mavis, that's a horrible fleece to handle.
Yep, that's one of those, it actually looks like it might even be less than, the normal 12-month, which perhaps leads you to think that maybe that sheep has been
Had a
of
check.
less good health.
Had a check.
Yeah, she hasn't had a good
Maybe she
time,
had 3 lambs instead of having 1.
possibly. But you can see how it's quite loose. He's being very, very careful,
gentle, he's
very gentle.
Let's see how he goes. Let's see. Well, folks out there, this is the world champion wool handler. He's getting ready to turn the fleece. We've got his table set up there. Let's see how Joel handles this one. That's pretty good considering the fleece. He didn't do too bad, did he, mate?
No, I would have thought he's done exceptionally well for that fleece, but as a judge, you can only judge what you see, what lands in front of you.
Look. What about taking into consideration the fleece is horrible to handle? Does that not come into it? Is there no human factor? Hey?
Oh, I'm sorry. You've
got to judge what you see.
You have to judge what you see. And for Joel, it was flat on the table. There was no overhang. There was a little bit of bunching maybe, but he had to do
he's
that.
been penalised for it too.
Yep, you can see on his board points there, that's relatively high, but that's over 2 sheep. So that means,
No, I reckon that's just these fleece. Okay, well, we've got some other good ones there. Here we go, down the table a little bit more. And the shearing there, Pagan Karodia, the best woman shearer and best at everything at the moment. This is the all-round package lady, and she is strong, Mavis.
she's really strong. Pagan has really come into her own, got fantastic DNA, the daughter of Dion Morel and Tina Remine from the Wairarapa here. Pagan has really distinguished herself of late. She is a superb shearer. She's a lead at this. In
She
fact,
won the other day.
she did win.
And this is a
and won
beautiful
well.
fleece too. Let's see how she handles this fleece. Look at that. Absolutely. I think Adia could learn something from Pagan, mate.
I think everyone could learn something from Pagan. But all of those throws, look at that one right down the end as well. No, there's some beautiful work being done here.
Okay, now who are we on table 3? Who are we going in? Oh, this is
Table 4.
Cherie Alabaster. She has been a world's champion as well. Her dad was a super shearer as well. Her mum is a super judge. Cherie Alabaster, a school teacher by trade.
Yes, and when you've been outside into a different trade like that, you do bring something different back into the wool shed, back into this work, and you certainly see that with Cherie. She's a fabulous...
Clever.
Look, they're all clever, but she just brings something a little bit different, and I think Cherie would have been smarting a bit from missing those worlds, but she's saying, well, blow that, been there, done that, let's move on.
Bonjour.
Bigger
coming
things.
Up.
Bonjour.
And that's why you're here, because you can speak a little bit of French. Hey, say good morning in French.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Aha, look at that. We've got an expert here in the studio this morning, Toby, Mavis Mullins. And here is, look at how she's putting the pressure on it. She's a strong lass. The table's got to be clean. No, Mavis, the table is absolutely clean. Now we've got on table number 3 from Dannyburg.
Yes, so Edemir, He's been kind of just dabbling on the edges for a little bit. Oh, he's got one of those loosey. Oh no, not too bad. Yeah, see,
He
it
didn't do
was
too bad
loose.
either.
Yeah, it was very loose, very fall aparty. And when you have those, you don't put too much effort because you'll break it up.
That was hopeless. He could have done better than that.
No, I think he's done a great job. Good on you, boy.
He should have just lifted it a bit higher. At this level, you know, this is the
Open, yeah.
Golden Shears primary ITO open wool handlers, the top, 16 wool handlers in the country, possibly in the world here in the Masterton War Memorial Stadium. But that's a nice little fleece to just finish off on, isn't it?
Oh, he deserves his place. He deserves his place in this next round. Good on him. And you know, it's always kind of cool when you see these ones who have been consistently on the edge, just breaking through.
Well, you look at Irumia Niho, you know, he probably never went to school. And this is the schooling he's had, is in the shearing shed. Hey, we can't all be doctors and scientists, mate. Somebody's got to do the manual work on the farms, and that's what Irumia was born to do. The wool handling judges, how do they look at them? They're so busy. Are they in the road?
They try their hardest not to be in the road, but you know, this is so competitive. You've got to be close. And I know there's been some efforts to think about how we remove the judges from the stage, but you know, it's technology in progress, I think. Maybe we ask Noise Productions to think about how that might happen.
No, I think that's something for us to work on. Look at the throws there, folks out there. I'm actually thinking Irumia Niho. No, I believe the throw belongs to Pagan. Joel Henare is just cleaning up now. 1 minute and 10 seconds is all he's got. Pagan was just fluffing and mucking around there because look at Joel. He is going for the Dr. Mavis. He's around the top and now he's skimming along the side. He'll be getting to roll up, but Cherie Alabaster on table number 4 is working away. But look who's rolling up. Irumia Niho. He's rolling. Oh no, he found it. There's a lot of work in these fleeces, isn't there?
There is a lot of work, and this is where those who are the most organised get ahead, and we saw that with Ronnie. So if all the way through your heat you've been perhaps looking for those bigger pieces, those second pieces on the floor, shaking those through so that perhaps when you get to the end you don't have such a big pile. Look at Joel. He's got it sorted.
He's on the floor there. He's working.
So is Cherie. Yes, Cherie.
Oh, Cherie Alabaster. Joel Henare. I actually don't think Joel will come out top on this one.
No, it doesn't matter.
That first fleece, I reckon it actually put him off his game.
Yeah, possibly did, but he's tougher than that. Look, all of them, it's a big job up there, the lights, the crowd. It can be a little bit daunting, but no, they've handled that well.
There we go with the stats. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
Joel and Cherie,
Oh my
Pagan
goodness.
and Edinburgh,
Oh,
but
they're still judging because once they put their hands up, then the judge kicks in another gear, don't they?
That's right, and what isn't included on there is the board and oddments out the back. So, you know, again, this is only a snapshot of the final points.
Hey, there's how many? There's 16 competitors there, and it's very hard to say. But Joel has stamped his mark on it, hasn't he?
I think they can all be really pleased from a personal point of view. But yeah, Joel, he's on a bit of a roll, but don't discount a whole lot of the others. Tina Ellis, she was outstanding in that first heat. I don't want to name names because they were all pretty awesome, but it's going to be tight.
We've only seen one component, Mavis. We've seen the board activity. They handled the 4 fleeces. They've dispatched them into their various containers, rolled the fleeces into the baskets, and now it all gets taken out the back. And then that's quite crucial because we're looking at the stats from the heats, and Joel Henare was just outstanding. The closest to him was 5 points away in the preparation of the final product out there. We're talking about a $750 million industry here. If you say it quite quickly, it's about $8 million a day, every day. And that's what this wool is worth to our economy. Underneath that fleece, is a beautiful eating mutton. And some people think mutton comes from a fridge in a supermarket, but hey, we're looking at the product up there. So who have we got coming up now?
Let's have a look. We haven't sort of got
We've
those
got
names
the
yet.
rolling,
Oh, there we
we've got the
go.
rolling. So we're going down to 8, aren't we?
Yes, and just remember that the quality points haven't yet been added on. There's still, this is just what you've seen on the board in their time.
Okay.
Right, into the
Whoa,
senior.
Brittany Tibble from good old Tairāwhiti, the, what are they? Tairāwhiti. They are the champion kapahaka from Matatini the other day.
They
Whangara mai tāwhiti.
They are.
Oh, well, I've never seen Brittany in this level, and I guess her heart is just racing.
So is this still the...
This is the last one.
Right, no, this is the senior.
Oh, senior.
So they've been very seamless here with this program.
Unbelievably seamless.
We've gone from open semi-finals straight into the senior semi-finals. So these are pretty